Yo, what is going on, everybody? It is Randeezus. Thank you so much for clicking on the video. Today's video, we're going to be continuing our quest on beating the current meta of grau spamming in every single gunfight in Call of Duty Warzone. Today's competitor is none other than the M13. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Alright, first off, I must admit I have been putting off doing a Warzone versus video on this specific gun because I didn't believe that the damage profile was where it needed to be, and that is because in multiplayer, the gun is incredibly weak. I remember it having great recoil control, but I could barely use it because it got shredded to pieces up close, which is where most of my gunfights ended up being. Even though I saw people around the community talking about the M13 and even my buddies urging me to give it a shot, I honestly just wasn't interested. Well, on my quest, it seems I may have ended up using it, and I absolutely love it. The thing is a beast, straight up. Let's take a look at the stats. Now remember, the stats only tell half the story, and honestly, from what I've seen, not even the most reliable part of the story. There are countless guns that outclass the grau in terms of stats, and none of them have taken the crown away from it. Regardless, the stats are important. Everything in blue is a better stat. The gray is the worst stat. You'll notice the ranges of the grau are in blue, and that is because it has more range profiles, so it's more effective at medium range. You'll also notice that the time to kill is blue for both the grau and the M13. That is because at close range, the grau's time to kill is slightly faster, but only by a hair. And once you leave that range, the M13 starts to pull away. Base damage is one thing, but time to kill is the most important. What is the point of a gun that has a super high damage profile but shoots one bullet a second? I'm looking at you, Odin. Plus, seeing as how most people rock the grau with an SMG like the MP5 or MP7, close range, you probably won't even need to worry about the up close damage because after 30 meters, the M13 kills noticeably faster. And past 57 meters, well, I could kill you twice in the amount of time that you could kill me with the grau. But what about the recoil? I'm glad that you asked, thank you. Firstly, here are my classes. The grau class is a classic. I have the tac laser, but you can switch for the XRK grip that reduces the ADS time. For the M13, you'll notice that I've opted out of the tac laser or grip for a red dot sight. This is because the iron sights are less than ideal. If you've watched my grau vs kilo video, link in the top right, you'll know that I despised the iron sights on the kilo. So this time around, I decided to listen to my gut feeling and just add the red dot sight. And damn, man, it makes a difference. The gun is definitely slow, but not too much slower than the grau, honestly. Plus, like I mentioned earlier, if you're running an SMG as a secondary, then you shouldn't be too concerned with the speed. As you can see, both move up and to the right. However, since the patch, the grau is much less predictable. It goes like up, and then right again, whereas the M13 goes up a little and then right. Here's a screenshot of the difference between the new grau and the old grau, and then the M13 on the far right. You'll also notice that the first couple bullets on both the grau and the M13 make this a little more difficult. The M13 clumps 3 bullets in one and then kicks up super fast, whereas the grau kicks a lot in the beginning. Honestly, side note, the grau nerf was nearly perfect. Kudos to Infinity Ward on this one. Reason being is that they didn't destroy the gun. They reduced range, but by a couple of meters, and they made the recoil slightly more unstable, which is exactly what the gun needed. It might get another tiny nerf, but we'll have to wait and see for that one. You'll definitely still see the grau around the Warzone map. It's meant to be a top tier weapon, but it's also not the overpowered monster that it once was. A gun like the M13 can finally compete with the grau, and honestly, I think the recoil is slightly more accurate on the M13. It kicks side to side roughly the same amount, not quite as vertical, and its time to kill from a distance is very strong, killing in less than a second. This gun is an absolute beast. One metric that I can't really measure is just how the gun feels and handles. This gun feels great, so much so that I think I'm going to start using it more. If you've watched any of my other videos, then you know that I'm an MP5 MP5 guy all the way. Pair that with an AX50 and I'm good to go. But the predictability of the M13 is honestly very refreshing, and I think I'm gonna have to start using this from now on, at least for, you know, 2 or 3 days before I switch back to my MP5. Guys, if you liked the video, like the video. If you loved the video, subscribe down below and let me know in the comments section if you've used the M13 or if you're gonna start. Peace out.